Why don't we talk about that for a second? The 49ers, with nobody noticing, just one day cut Jacob Eason, signed Josh Johnson, and then Josh Johnson was their third quarterback. And then he became their second quarterback. And they knew that Josh probably couldn't get the job done as their backup quarterback, but they stayed with him. Is that a cap? Was that a cap thing? I mean, to me, if there is reason today to be critical of the 49ers and some of the moves that they made, but I think these moves that need to be criticized was the move to cut Jacob Eason and stay with Josh Johnson, who is a 36-year-old guy who is more of a third quarterback. He's a good guy. Everybody likes him, but if you had to play him with your job in line, you would probably go get somebody else. And Eason has a huge arm and was in their system. And I talked to him about a week or two before he got cut. He was looking forward to learning this offense, and he's a big guy who in some ways could make the throws better than any of the other quarterbacks. That, to me, they blew that. If you want to be critical there.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's, depends where you like lie on that, philosophy. Cause like, what I kept getting reminded of, Larry, is I don't know if you remember that quote that Tom Moore had. He was the offensive coordinator with Peyton Manning for a number of years in Indianapolis. Ron Jaworski and John Gruden were doing some research for, I think it was a book Ron Jaworski was writing. And at a practice, he asked Tom Moore, he's like, well, why aren't Peyton's backups getting any snaps? Like, don't you think would be beneficial for them to get some work? And he basically responded by saying, if 18 goes down, we're screwed, and we don't practice screwed. So I think there is some of that mentality within the NFL where these guys just feel like, hey, if we're on our fourth quarterback, like, we can't prepare for that. We can't practice for that. But I'm with you in the sense that you can at least give yourself a fighting chance. And maybe there was more value in having a guy that understood the playbook, that was able to help prepare Brock Purdy in that quarterback room. And that's might have been what they were looking at. Because Josh Johnson is much more familiar with Kyle's offense, the plays he's going to be running, than a guy like Jacob Eason. But ultimately, this is where I think it comes back to having that emergency quarterback. Because if you had been able to keep Eason and keep Josh Johnson and have that, third quarterback dressed on game day, I think you're able to avoid making those kind of decisions. But I also can kind of understand, like, at a certain point, it's an exercise in futility to expect the fifth quarterback down the line to be prepared to step into an NFC Championship game against a team as good as the Eagles.